Imagine this. You've spent years dreaming of America. You left everything behind, your family, your home, your safety, just for a chance at freedom, opportunity, and a better life. You worked tirelessly to get your green card. You waited in line after line. You studied for your civics test. You raised your right hand and swore the oath of allegiance. And finally, after all that struggle, you became a U.S. citizen. You're safe. You're home. You belong. But here's the truth no one warns you about. You can still lose it. All of it. Your American citizenship, your rights, your future, even your freedom. And it's not just some rare, far-fetched scenario. It's real. It's happening. And if you're not careful, it could happen to you. Welcome to Immigration News Today, where we bring you the latest, most urgent updates on U.S. immigration. And today, we're talking about something that strikes fear into the hearts of every naturalized citizen. The 5 shocking reasons you can lose your U.S. citizenship and how to protect yourself before it's too late. This isn't just another immigration update. This is a warning, a guide, a lifeline. Because once your citizenship is gone, getting it back is nearly impossible. And the consequences? They're devastating. Deportation, loss of rights, separation from your family, a lifetime of regret. So sit tight. Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you could change everything. Let's start with the most important thing you need to know. U.S. citizenship is not guaranteed forever, even after you've taken the oath. Once you become a citizen, you might think you're done, that you're safe, that nothing can take it away. But the reality is, under certain conditions, the U.S. government can, and sometimes does, revoke your citizenship. It's called denaturalization, and it's a legal process used when someone obtained their citizenship fraudulently or committed certain acts after becoming a citizen. Now, before you panic, let me be clear. The vast majority of naturalized citizens are law-abiding, honest people who did everything right. But there are real risks out there, and if you're not aware of them, you could unknowingly put your citizenship in jeopardy. That's why you need to know exactly what those risks are and how to avoid them. Reason number 1, lying or hiding information. During the naturalization process, this is the most common and most dangerous reason people lose their citizenship. When you apply for naturalization, you're required to disclose your entire immigration and criminal history. Every arrest, every conviction, every time you've been deported, detained, or even questioned by immigration authorities. Every time you've lied on a past application. If USCIS finds out, either during the naturalization process or years later, that you lied, omitted key facts, or submitted false documents, they can reopen your case and strip you of your citizenship through denaturalization. And here's the scary part. They don't even have to prove you intended to deceive them. All they have to show is that you willfully misrepresented or concealed material facts, things that would have made you ineligible for citizenship if they had known the truth. In fact, over the last few years, the U.S. government has ramped up its efforts to denaturalize people who committed fraud during the naturalization process. USCIS has even created a dedicated denaturalization task force to investigate and pursue cases where citizenship was obtained illegally or through deceit. One real-life example? A man in California was denaturalized after USCIS discovered he had failed to disclose a prior deportation order when he applied for citizenship. He had lived in the U.S. for decades, raised a family, even served in the military. But because he didn't tell the truth on his application, he lost everything. His citizenship was revoked. He was placed in removal proceedings. And now he's fighting to stay in the only country he's ever called home. Moral of the story? Be 100% honest on every form, every question, every time. Don't try to hide anything. Don't think a small lie won't matter. It does, and it can destroy your life. When filling out your N-400 application for naturalization, read every question carefully. If you're unsure about how to answer something, consult an experienced immigration attorney. Never guess, never assume, and never, ever lie. Here's another harsh reality. Even after you become a U.S. citizen, your actions still matter, and if you commit certain types of crimes, especially those involving fraud, treason, or terrorism, you can be denaturalized. The key here is understanding the difference between losing your green card and losing your citizenship. As a green card holder, committing certain crimes can get you deported. But as a citizen, you generally have much stronger protections, except in extreme cases. Crimes that can lead to denaturalization include treason or terrorism-related offenses, fraud that directly relates to your citizenship application or status, participation in Nazi persecution or other human rights violations. Yes, these cases still come up. Illegal procurement of citizenship, which basically means you became a citizen through illegal means or by hiding something critical. In 2020, for example, a former Nazi guard was denaturalized and deported at the age of 95. He had lived in the U.S. for decades, but new evidence came to light proving he had served as an armed guard at a concentration camp during World War II. Despite his age and how long he'd lived here, his citizenship was stripped and he was sent back to Germany. Now, most people watching this aren't Nazis or terrorists. But you still need to be aware that certain criminal convictions, especially those involving fraud or dishonesty, can put your citizenship at risk. If you're ever arrested or charged with a crime, even as a citizen, it's crucial to consult with an immigration attorney or a criminal defense lawyer who understands immigration consequences. Don't assume that because you're already a citizen, you're protected. You're not. This one hits close to home for a lot of people. If you became a U.S. citizen through marriage to a U.S. citizen or through any other process where there's a question of fraud or misrepresentation, your citizenship can be challenged and revoked. USCIS takes marriage fraud extremely seriously. If they discover that your marriage was a sham, meaning it was entered into solely for the purpose of getting a green card or citizenship, they can reopen your case, denaturalize you, and initiate deportation proceedings. And here's the thing, they can do this even years after you've become a citizen. In one high-profile case, a woman who had been a U.S. citizen for over 20 years was denaturalized after USCIS found evidence that her marriage to a U.S. citizen had been fraudulent. She lost her citizenship, her home, her job, and her entire life in the United States. If your citizenship is based on a marriage, or if there's any question about how you got your green card or applied for citizenship, you need to be extra cautious. Keep your records clean. Avoid any behavior that could raise red flags. And if you're ever contacted by USCIS for an interview or investigation, take it seriously. Get legal help immediately. This one surprises a lot of people, but it's true. If you served in a foreign military or held a position in a foreign government, and you didn't disclose it properly when applying for citizenship, you could be at risk of denaturalization. U.S. citizenship law requires applicants to disclose any prior service in a foreign army or government, especially if that service was compulsory or involved any kind of rank or authority. If you failed to disclose this information, or if USCIS discovers that you were involved in activities that conflict with U.S. interests, they can challenge your citizenship. This is especially relevant for immigrants from countries with mandatory military service or political histories that might raise concerns. The lesson here? Transparency is your best defense. If you're unsure whether something in your past needs to be disclosed, talk to an immigration lawyer before you file your N-400. It's always better to be upfront than to risk having your citizenship revoked later. Now, this one is more nuanced, but it's still important to understand. In general, once you're a U.S. citizen, you can live anywhere in the world without losing your citizenship. But there are rare cases where fraudulent attempts to obtain citizenship through false claims of residency or physical presence can lead to denaturalization. For example, if you lied about how long you lived in the U.S., or claimed to have been physically present when you weren't, and that lie directly contributed to your eligibility for citizenship, USCIS can investigate and potentially revoke your citizenship. Again, the key is honesty. Always be truthful about your residency history. Don't try to bend the rules or cut corners. What happens if USCIS starts a denaturalization case against you? If USCIS believes you obtained your citizenship fraudulently or committed certain acts that warrant revocation, they can initiate denaturalization proceedings in federal court. You'll receive a formal notice. You'll have the right to a hearing. You can present evidence, call witnesses, and defend yourself. But the burden of proof is on you to show that your citizenship was lawfully obtained and that you've complied with all requirements. If the court rules against you, your U.S. citizenship will be revoked. And in many cases, that means you'll also lose your permanent resident status and face deportation. This is not something to take lightly. How to protect yourself. So how do you protect yourself from losing your citizenship? Here's what you need to do. 1. Always be honest on every immigration form, application, and interview. No exceptions. 2. Keep copies of everything you submit to USCIS. Track your case using the official Case Status online tool. 3. If you receive any notice from USCIS, whether it's a request for evidence, RFE, an intent to deny, or anything else, respond immediately and follow the instructions carefully. 4. Stay out of legal trouble. Avoid arrests, convictions, and anything that could raise questions about your character or background. 5. If you're ever unsure about your status, your eligibility, or your rights, consult an experienced immigration attorney. Don't rely on online forums or unverified advice. 6. Check the visa bulletin regularly if you have family or employment-based petitions pending. Stay on top of processing times and policy changes. 7. Use advance parole properly if you're a green card holder traveling abroad, and never leave the U.S. without understanding the risks to your status. Final thoughts. Becoming a U.S. citizen is one of the most powerful, life-changing achievements anyone can have. It's the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and hope. But with that power comes responsibility. The truth is, your citizenship can be taken away, but only if you let your guard down. So don't. Stay informed. Stay vigilant, and never ever underestimate the importance of doing things the right way. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to Immigration News Today, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We post urgent immigration news, breakdowns of policy changes, and step-by-step guides to help you navigate the system safely and successfully. And if you have a question about your case, or if there's a topic you want us to cover next, drop it in the comments below. We read every single one. Because here at Immigration News Today, our mission is simple: to keep you informed, to protect your future, and to help you achieve the American dream the right way. Stay safe, stay legal, and remember, knowledge is your best defense. See you in the next video.